Hello and welcome to tonight's CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Quaglia, sitting here with Marv, Ezhan, and Mike Molyneaux, per usual. All right, so we are now coming off of a Patriots week where they played the Cowboys. They're in the middle of this stretch where they're playing good teams as opposed to the crap bag teams that they played for the first, 7, 8, 9 weeks, whatever it was. 8 weeks, whatever, it doesn't matter. And they beat the Cowboys, another low-scoring, boring game, kind of expected with the rain, with the monsoon that was going on in New England at the time. So they went 13-9, but one big storyline that came out of that game was Stephon Gilmore. And we've been watching Stephon Gilmore all year. He's been excellent. He's been put on the team's top receivers, their opponent's top receivers, and he's been shutting them down. And he did the exact same thing this week against Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper all season long has been one of the best top, would you guys say top 3 receivers?
He's
top
in the
4,
top
5,
top 10 receiver in the league.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good.
Okay, so top 5 receiver in the league, held him to 0 receptions on 2 targets. So guys, Gilmore's been doing this all year. He's been a stud all season long. And the conversation's now becoming serious with him. And he wasn't even the leading defensive player of the year candidate early on in the season. That was Jamie Collins. So now we're sitting here. Is Stephon Gilmore the NFL's defensive player of the year this year? Marv, let's start off with you. What do you think?
Stephon Gilmore is absolutely the defensive player of the year, and I'm not hearing anything else if it ain't Stephon Gilmore. This is a guy coming into Sunday who allowed only 18 receptions, 220 yards on 47 targets, has 3 interceptions, now 4 interceptions in the past game that we had, and 10 passes broken up. The guy is an ultimate beast. The game against Cleveland, his job was to guard Odell Beckham. Only held him to 49 yards. We just saw what he did to Amari Cooper, 0 yards. If he goes out this week and does the same, continues what he's doing against DeAndre Hopkins, it is solidified, man.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a big test.
Big test right there, but have we seen anything from Stephon Gilmore to be worried at all? Stephon Gilmore has guarded anyone who's in front of him, and this is his 3rd shutout of the year, guys. 2nd consecutively in this week. So the man is balling. Not only is he a terrific corner, but you can tell he studies the game. He studies who his opponent is. He studies the wide receiver. He knows exactly what routes they're running, where to be at the right time. Stephon Gilmore is the defensive player of the year. You can't have a team that goes 10-1. And if you're not going to give credit to any of the offensive players, you're not going to give Brady MVP or anybody in the offensive players any clout. I get it. I understand the offense hasn't been well. Then you got to give it to someone on the defensive side of the field. And it's Stephon Gilmore right now.
You know, I was reading a Sports Illustrated article before the show, and Stephon Gilmore was talking about Bill Belichick and how he's helped him, how he's made him a smarter player. And you can tell. I mean, I remember going back to when the Patriots signed Stephon Gilmore. There was a lot of conversation. Why aren't you signing Malcolm Butler? Because everybody loved Malcolm Butler still at that point. Why aren't you signing Malcolm Butler? He goes out, and on the first day of free agency, which Bill never does, he takes a wad of cash, throws it at Stephon Gilmore. Everybody was confused about that. Now we're seeing why. This guy's been a damn stud this year. But has he been Defensive Player of the Year? Mike, before we jump over to you, guys, turkey season is here, and betonline.ag wants to celebrate with you during this massive schedule of college and pro football games on tap this Thanksgiving weekend. Thursday, obviously, Thanksgiving Day. Huge day for the NFL. A lot of betting action. Follow the action at betonline.ag as week 14 of the college season unfolds. The pro schedule is just as packed, again, as Thanksgiving Thursday kicks off at week 13. So before this week starts, head over to betonline.ag on your computer or your mobile device and check out thousands of ways to bet today. Use promo code CLNS50 to receive that 50% welcome bonus that we talk about every week with your first deposit. Happy Thanksgiving from betonline.ag, your online sports book experts. All right, Mike, what do you think? Is Stephon Gilmore Defensive Player of the Year this year?
I think, in agreement with Marv, Stephon Gilmore is making the case to become the first cornerback since Charles Woodson of the Green Bay Packers in 2009 to be Defensive Player of the Year. Like, let's really look at it. I don't think there's been a game where whoever Stephon Gilmore has been matched up against, that receiver has got the best of him. I think at the end of the game, after 4 quarters have been played, each week we've come out looking at whatever matchup that is and say that Stephon Gilmore, pretty much shut down that quarterback. And you don't have to look much further than the most recent game against a guy who we just talked about, one of the best receivers currently in the game right now, and who's having a hell of a season, Amari Cooper, completely shut down. I don't know if there's been a game this season where Amari Cooper saw less than 5 targets. He only saw 2. Against the Patriots when they played Dallas played the Patriots. And I mean, it's tough because I think Marv said this before. Patriots are always looked at as a team. They always looked at, this team is really good. The team is having a great season. Obviously Brady gets talked, but there's never really a guy that stands out that really separates itself from the team. Stephon Gilmore, yes, collectively is helping the Patriots defense be one of the best in the league, but his individual performances week in and week out definitely deserve some credit. I mean, it'd be one thing if he was doing this and the Patriots are just a middle-of-the-pack team. He's doing this, and the Patriots are the best team in the league. So I think eyes really need to be opened. Light really needs to be shined upon Stephon Gilmore and the performance he's putting out there. Coming into the season, he was already looked at as one of the best cornerbacks. And this season, he's taken it to another level once again. He needs to be in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year for sure.
Well, so the thing is, he's finally getting the recognition, and people are finally starting to talk about him as a potential defensive player of the year candidate. Because you remember at the start of the season, through the first few weeks, people are talking about Jamie Collins, and I mean, frankly, Jamie Collins is still fine. He's still playing really well, but he's not playing at that elite caliber level that he was at the start of the season. When you look at Stephon Gilmore, he's the best player on a defense that is one of the best that we've seen in a while. He has been unbeatable. He's been elite. This defense is elite, and he is elite of the elite when it comes to his position. He has been unbelievable. Amari Cooper has had a phenomenal year. He was gone yesterday, so much so that it was like he disappeared in the middle of the game. There was one specific play, I forget what it was, but he did not even look like he wanted to put in the effort because it was almost at the point where, I'm not going to get by this guy. I'm not going to get by Stephon Gilmore. And remember, at the start of the season, the players voted Stephon Gilmore as the best cornerback in the league, and he's showing that. Now, a problem with MVP conversations, all pro sports except for especially the NFL, Stephon Gilmore has a meek personality. He'll talk the talk when he gets asked, "Are you the best corner in the league?" Hell yeah, I am. But he's not a guy on the field who's clapping his hands in your face. He's not a guy like Jalen Ramsey who's talking himself up, talking the team up, absolutely in the camera's face. He's a meek guy. He gets out there, he does his job, and he gets it done. So now people are finally looking at him because he hasn't been making a lot of noise in front of the cameras. People are finally looking at him and being like, okay, this guy is the defensive MVP this year. And honestly, at this point, if it goes to anybody else, if the season ended today and it went to anybody else, that would be a shame. Because the guy has been a stud.
And he's doing this, Mike mentioned since 2009 there was a corner as a defensive player of the year. The game has changed since 2009. It's even become more offensive. It's easier for wide receivers to get loose.
You can't touch them.
You can't touch them. And there goes to my next point. Gilmore doesn't get flagged for anything.
Really?
The guy goes out there. You barely see a pass interference on Gilmore. You barely see a holding call on Gilmore this year. And that just goes to a testament of how great he is. You mentioned Amari Cooper looked like he gave up. That's what I'm talking about, the studying. He knows every route you're going to run. He knows exactly what you're going to do, to the point the receiver doesn't even want to run the route no more. It's like, what am I supposed to do out here?
Well, there was also, the Sports Illustrated article had a ton just about Gilmore, in the draft, in everything from the start of his career. And he says that Belichick is the smartest coach that he's had. And you can see that once he's something that he discussed in it was with the Patriots. He talks about the preparation. He talks about what the team does. He talks about his specific preparation. And now he doesn't have to guess with what the receivers do. While he's with the Patriots with this new philosophy that he's adopted since coming to New England, he studies the receiver pretty heavily, and he knows what this guy's tendencies are. And you can tell. I mean, he looks prepared, and he's just the talent level is elite. The talent level is elite. And that's why Bill wanted him. That's why Bill threw a ton of cash at him that I would love to have.